Hi guys, this is Team Vanguard. My name is Bishop Ranjit and I will be presenting the chapter 3.
Hi guys, my name is Đặng Văn Quang and I will discuss about the first topic. The topic one is understanding who control resources in a cloud. The second is the on-site private cloud scenario, and the third one is the outsourced private cloud scenario.
Hi everyone, I am Arun Kesi and I'll be talking about the topic the on-site community cloud scenario and the outsourced community cloud scenario from the chapter 4.
Hi, myself, Biswas Limbu. I am also the team of the a member of the Vanguard. I will be discussing about on the topic of public cloud scenario and hybrid cloud scenario.
Hello everyone, my name is Bishop Ranjit and today I'll be presenting the chapter 3, typical commercial terms of service. For the introduction, cloud service agreements are something that is legally binding contracts between a consumer and a provider. So the two key components that we need to look at is service agreement, which means legal rules and contractual terms between a consumer and a provider, and service level agreement. This is a technical performance promises and remedies that was ensured by the provider. So the types of service agreements are internal service agreements between IT department and organizational units, government agreements. These are basically a type of code. Memorandums of understanding MOUs or interagency agreements. For most consumers, cloud pricing and terms are most of the time non-negotiable. These are some of the pattern as in the structure of the cloud service agreement. So we'll be focusing on promises, limitation, and obligations. So the key provider promises that we must focus on are availability. So most of the time, company provides the availability uptime of 99.5 to 100%. 99.5% availability means that service could be done for about 3.65 hours in a month, and 100% availability means no downtime. No remedies for failures. Compensation through services credit is capped at a percentage of the billing period cost. Data preservation, it means limited obligations, so it would be about typical there will be 30 days retention after service termination. Legal care of consumer information, so the providers won't sell or share data unless they are required by law. They may monitor consumer activity and sometimes request software copies for monitoring. Limitation in service agreements. Some of the limitation in service agreements are shadow outage, which means pre-announced outages are not considered failures. Force majeure events. Providers will not be responsible for natural events such as natural disasters. Security disclaimers. Providers often disclaim responsibility for data breaches or security issues. Service agreement changes. Provider can change the terms or pricing with little notice. Service API changes. Providers can change or remove API anytime, affecting how you interact with their service. So these are the consumer obligation. Acceptable use policies. Prohibitions on illegal activities like hacking, licensed software, ensuring that third-party software complies with our licensing terms. Timely payments. So failing to pay can lead to a suspension or maybe even a loss of data. So some of the key recommendation points for consumers are terminology. So understanding the provider specific definitions of terms, security and backup, verify disclaimers about data security and consider independent backups. Service agreement changes, plan for potential change in terms and be ready to switch providers whenever necessary. So the final thought is understanding our cloud service cloud service agreement is quite important because you need to know what was promised, what is limited, and what are your responsibility as a consumer. And if you can negotiate if possible, you can tailor the service agreement as per your need if needed. So thank you. If you have any question, please feel free. So
And now I will discuss about general cloud environment. So the first, who control resources in the cloud? Cloud computing often requires consumers to relinquish to key capabilities to provide their control and visibility. Asset boundaries have organized different cloud deployment models. A security perimeter as a barrier, allowing internal entities to access resources freely, while external entities need permission from a boundary controller. Implementing a security perimeter helps control and monitor resources use, but uncontrolled paths, such as wireless communications, can weaken it. So the first scenario is the on-site private cloud scenario. The network dependency. The network dependency for an on-site private cloud may be limited to dependency on the network resources over which consumer has control. Consumers still need IT skills. The needs of traditional IT skill required to manage user device and cloud IT skill are best to manage those devices that access to private cloud workload location are hidden from client. Be able to migrate workloads between machines without a client being aware and weak from multi-tenancy. An on-site private cloud mitigates their risk somewhat further by restricting the number of possibility attackers. And, and the second, I will discuss about the outsourced private cloud scenario, a network dependency. Organizations may establish dedicated and secure communication channels with a cloud provider, thereby mitigating certain network challenges at a cost. A workload location. A workload are mitigate machine without clear knowing. Nevertheless, the organization have some visibility and control over where the data is stored if the security perimeter is properly implemented. A multi-tenancy risk. The security risk associated with sharing infrastructure with other current minor is also found in one's private clouds, necessitating that federal information handling adhere to government security standards.
Okay, so we'll be talking about the on-site community cloud scenario here. Various organizations can either provide or use cloud services with at least one organization serving as a provider. These organizations are linked through boundary controllers that manage access across their security perimeter. Additionally, extra security measures can be put in the place to separate cloud resources from the internal resources. It is essential to manage access carefully to ensure that local cloud resources are available to other organizations while keeping non-cloud resource protected. Uh, So now let's explore some key features. First is network dependency. It means it requires organizations to set up secure communication links or use cryptography over public networks. Next, IT skills are crucial as providers need advanced skills while consumers must manage complexities related to multiple providers. Workload locations remain within organization if security perimeters are properly implemented, but we also face a multi-tenancy risk, means more organization increase a potential attack risk compared to a private cloud. Now we move on to some benefits and challenges. First one, data import and or export limitations. It can affect performance and security due to the communication link between the organizations. Then security from external threats relies on the effectiveness of each organization's security parameter, adding complexity. And upfront cost can vary significantly. Providing services usually incurs higher costs, while consuming services is more modest. Lastly, about the resource limitations means resource must be locally sourced, which can limit scalability. Now, about the outsourced cloud community scenario. Here, multiple organizations consume cloud services from an external provider. The cloud provider handles all the server-side responsibilities and enforces a security parameter to ensure that the community cloud resources remain distinct from any external resources. Now we move on to some key features. First, network dependency. Your organizations connect to cloud provider through secure communication links, similar to the other similar to outsourced private cloud. Here, workload locations. The cloud provider manages workload, keeping them hidden from client. Through organizations can implement policies for transparency if desired. Now, multi-tenancy risk. While the number of potential attacker is limited, the risk does increase with the addition of more organizations. Okay, now let's discuss the benefit and challenges. Data import or export limitations. Communication link can affect performance, security, and reliability, much like an outsourced private cloud. Security from external threats. The overall security relies on the strength of the cloud provider perimeter and the protected communication links. Upfront cost. Usually costs are generally modest to significant for consuming services depending on the organization's specific needs. And lastly, extensive resources. Unlike the on-site community cloud, the outsourced model provides scalability and abundant resources thanks to the external cloud provider. And now we can say that we conclude that in the on-site community cloud scenario, multiple organizations share resources on-premise. This leads to complex security and policy configuration that requires careful planning to avoid cross-organization security breaches and inter-site communication dependencies. Organizations must collaborate closely and establish clear protocols. And in the outsourced community cloud scenario, organizations share the responsibility for security and compliance with the cloud provider. This arrangement necessitates clear agreements on data handling, access controls, and the compliance obligations. It's essential that all organizations understand their role in maintaining security and protecting shared resources.
I will be discussing about the private cloud scenario. A private cloud. A private cloud means a computing environment or server that is provided by the cloud provider or any third-party service provider that provide services like networking, storage, computational power, or processing power over the internet. These services are provided to many people, different kinds of people, and they can use such services by paying to the third-party provider. The next slide is about outlining characteristics and consideration of cloud public cloud. First one is a network dependency. A customer need to have any public internet to connect with the cloud provider, and the reliability of this connection will always depend on the internet infrastructure. And the connection can be affected if there is some kind of a cyber attack, misconfiguration, or not availability of internet connection. And the consumers also always have to rely on the internet service provider for connectivity. And if they have some kind of problem in the connectivity, then it can affect access to the public cloud or cloud services. Next is workload location. In a public cloud, consumers do not know the specific location of their workloads. Provider can migrate consumers' workload anytime to optimize the cost. When the workload restriction or policy are available, they usually are cross-trained or region-based. They are usually region-based. The customer have to trust such a location restriction and enforce correctly, since they cannot independently verify the compliance. Another one is risk from multi-tenancy. Often the multiple consumers of the private public cloud are working on the same physical hardware. This can introduce a risk to the reliability and the security, as a failure or attack would affect the neighboring workloads. And even though it provides the cost efficiency, but also increase the number of potential attacks. Low upfront cost. A public cloud offer low initial cost for consumers to migrate into the cloud, similar to other cloud scenario. Limited visibility and control over data security. Providers typically do not disclose the detail of their operation or software to consumers. The consumer must rely on providers' assurance that their data will be secured. But consumers always lack a way to verify that operation, like a delete, are performed as requested. Elasticity. A public cloud provides the perception of unlimited resources by allowing the flexible movement of workloads and scaling without static security and boundaries. This flexibility supports the illusion of boundless capacity to consumers. Restrictive default service level agreement. The default SLA often limits the promises that made to consumers regarding the reliability and security. The agreements outlines the limited remedies available to consumers and the defined providers' obligation. It may differ significantly from market claims, and the consumer must refer to those legal documents to understand their rights and provide a commitment. Next one is hybrid cloud scenario. Hybrid cloud compose two or more different kinds of cloud, which can be private, community, or public. Each cloud in a hybrid setup can have various variation and such as on-site hosted. On-site, which means it is hosted within an organization premises, and outsourced means hosted by an external third-party provider. This variation of deployment are crucial because they have different impacts on performance, reliability, security, and other properties. Configuration of hybrid cloud. A number of the configuration it depends upon the customer or company, making it unrealistic to emulate all the possibility. We can see the figure given here depicts a complex theoretical hybrid cloud composed of various models showing the access point and the network connectivity in the constitute cloud. Next one we have here is global challenges and global issue with the hybrid cloud scenario. First one always be the security. A security policy governing a data flow and the resources access would be widely varied depending upon a specific policy of each constitutional cloud. Identity, authentication, and authentication management and information protection are a very complex issue that requires the shared standard practice across the hybrid cloud. The configuration of cloud can change over the time as a cloud joins or leave the network, adding further complexity to management and the security consideration. There are some practical practices of hybrid cloud scenarios. Some are cloud bursting. It is a private cloud that handles routine workloads, while one or more external cloud are accessed during the peak demand. That will ensure the scalability and cost efficiency. Other one is backup and disaster recovery. Using one cloud to provide a backup or disaster recovery services for another is a common hybrid use. Another one is multi-cloud configuration for new software development. Some of cloud-native software solutions are specifically designed for multi-cloud environment. For example, the web request handling that are managed by the cloud platforms for continuous availability, while others are for background processing. Role-specific deployment. A different cloud may be used based on an organization function, such as sensitive data processing could be handled outsourced private cloud, and software development and testing would occur in public and cloud for ease of access and cost efficiency. Now, we have a final thought in all our understanding of those chapter 3 and 4. The first is understanding the cloud service agreement is critical for ensuring you are aware of what is promised and what is limited and what's your responsibility are. Always negotiate if possible. That will allow the service agreement to meet your needs. Other is both on-site private and outsourced private models offers the distinct advantages and challenges. The choice between them depends upon the organization need, including the regulatory compliance, budget constraint, desired level of control over data and security. Balancing these factors is crucial for optimizing the cloud strategy and achieving the business goal. On-site cloud community fosters resource sharing among the organization, but demands careful planning and a clarity security protocol to avoid the breaches and ensure the communication. Outsourced community cloud allows the organization to use external resources, also while sharing the security responsibility. There is always a clear agreement with the provider that will have to maintain the security and compliance. The public cloud is very ideal for flexibility for the organization that is looking for the flexibility, scalability, and low cost. But we have also to be very considerable for security, compliance, and dependency on a third-party provider. The detailed analysis captures the captured the various benefit, limitation, and risks associated with the public cloud environment, and also emphasizing the dependency on the internet infrastructure, potential security risks for multi-tenancy, and limited visibility to provider operation. About the hybrid cloud, it is very versatile, allow organizations to optimize their IT infrastructure by leveraging the strength of the different cloud models for various use cases. If there are any question, you can feel free to email us or contact us. Thank you.